tell me about fatherhood from your perspective as how do you keep your kids safe, your daughter safe from being like, what are you telling them to do or not do, that I should be thinking of as my daughters get older, or, having, Ben Shapiro on say, hey, how are you talking with your kids about CRT at the dinner table? Like,
right.
I'm not quite there yet with my kids, but I want to be prepared to know, like, how are we having these conversations? And really just kind of figure out like this whole masculinity question, which has been like, just in my opinion, perverted. Obviously, we've talked about it, for years now by the left and by feminism. And now what I see is this perversion on the other side of things. And people I just, vehemently disagree with who have taken it completely the other way. And I'm like, that's not it either.
It's the overcorrection.
The overcorrection is insane. And I think what you're going to see as a result of that is this, I don't know which wave we're on now with feminism, but this fourth, fifth, whatever we're on of feminism with, it's going to be a lot of conservative trad wife women who are like, that didn't work either. That wasn't biblical. That was, whatever is your guiding light, that wasn't it either.
No.
And so
it's also men.
Absolutely, yeah.
But, But I mean,
it's just fatherless behavior.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't matter.
You compromise. You get into it in weird angles, and left without, in my opinion, again, like what does the Bible say about this topic? What was it created to be? I think you just have no choice but to go off the rails with it. If you don't have that kind of guiding force behind what it should or shouldn't be. And so I just want to discover what that is. I want to talk to people about it. I want to, I've gotten into other things over the years, jiu-jitsu and preparedness, things I wasn't into, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And, I'm still just trying to piece together, what does it mean to be like the man God wants me to be for my family and to take care of mine and to do right by them and to be, a faithful father for them. And so, I want to get into talk about all those kind of topics and all those kind of things with interesting people. And yeah, so that's going to be launching very shortly. It's called In the Foxhole with Jared Monroe. You can go to I was plugging now. You can go to my socials and click on like the link in the bio, and you can get like links and information about stuff.
Awesome, dude. I look forward to that because there is seriously a gap of that kind of conversation going on.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
all, not really happening.
Yeah, it's not happening at all. It's either far left, you don't need family at all, or it's the other direction. But it's similar, like the same kind of topic. You don't need family at all as well. It's like you just go your own way, and you don't need a woman, and you don't need to build relationships and be
marriage is a sham.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and it is happening in Christian circles, but there's just not enough, in my opinion, microphone for those people. It's not really the conversation isn't getting out beyond the choir of those conversations.
Yeah.
And so, how do we, and I don't think any one person has the answer. That's why I would never position myself as having even a majority of the answers. And I want to figure those answers out. And that's why I think you need to bring in, but I think every successful father, and you could define success in a multitude of ways, but like I think has something to offer that picture to figure that out. I think there's something really valuable there about the way certain people carry themselves and conduct themselves, and if maybe taking kind of their profession and what they're known for being very knowledgeable in, and how do we Venn diagram that over this idea of fatherhood and masculinity and figure things out. So that's my goal. That's what I'm interested in.
Look forward to it.
No, I think that's great. And I mean, there are so many things going on right now. Me being a father, like I want to hear stuff like that. I'm trying, my son's in a Christian school. I've reconnected with faith, and it's not an easy thing to do. No. I've been somebody who's been, very angry at God. And I've talked about that on the show. And then, but it's a weird thing where I don't deny the existence ever. So it's like, it's always there. And then I always feel like when I take a little bit of a step in that direction that I'm guided, and it's odd to talk about because it's, I don't know, it's something that I walked away from bitterly when I was like in my,
I think a lot of people,
early 20s.
And I think the church has done a little disservice to say that you were like, you forsook the journey, when like that kind of is the journey.
Absolutely,
and like that is part of the journey of like doubting God and having these problems of like, why this, why that, and having the struggles with that relationship. I think like,
open the Bible and go, it's that story.
And to figure out fatherhood, like it's kind of, I think it's worth looking at God as the ultimate father figure, and to figure out like if your relationship is bad with him or bad with your own parents or whatever it is, it's going to distort all those perspectives of how that was meant to be. So it gives part of the journey. Give grace to yourself because it's all part of the journey.
Yeah, and it's like, well, there's a direction and there's a purpose to life, and when you have kids, there is something that I finally see in my son where I'm like, oh right, this like there's a reason that you have, and I finally like that's the purpose, that's the goal. So it's like all this other stuff that I may have been looking at or shooting for, like it doesn't really matter to me. At the end of the day, I'm just caring about him.
Yeah.
And that's something that is, it's very profound. It's very, there is and I think there is a masculinity there, and there's something to protect there. And it's something that I never felt until, 9 years ago when I had him. And I'm a different person in front of him sometimes than I am, obviously on this show. But I do think people do need that guidance. I think a lot of people are lost, or they're looking up to the worst versions of, I don't want to say false prophets, but a lot of these people that are just like, all right, man. Yeah. Drive a Ferrari, smoke a cigar.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We could say it, right? I mean, we know those people are. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know how at what point we took a weird turn and said like the woman abusing pornographer is maybe a good example of masculinity and manhood. Right. But at some point we got there.
Yeah.
At some point we got there. And I can understand how, but it doesn't mean it excuses like I'm all about like there's plenty of things. Take the church music, from Hillsong or something, or these songs, kind of the eat the fish, spit out the bones mentality of life. Like if you don't have that to some extent, you're gonna kind of just like hit brick walls everywhere you turn. But there's some people out there you're like, maybe we just spit the whole thing out. Maybe we just don't take any of this fish. Maybe it's just bad. It's bad fish.
Maybe that fish is not even a fish and it's a pretend fish. And they give you a pretend fish, and you're like, "What? This isn't even fish."
Yeah, like a sea urchin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are hard to disguise as fishes.
I can't digest this.
Pokey.
Well, and the whole thing is it's a ruse. The whole thing is it's what you should think of this person. So your whole idea is paying this person getting money, and them showing off. Like you're essentially looking at a braggart who you would hate.
Well, yeah. And there's plenty of people who we have like attributed as like leading a movement, and we're like, I think when you really break down the reality of that person, like I think they're just marketing to a movement. They're not really. There is really no movement, afoot.
Yeah.
Other than what they're making off of it.
It's why I've attempted, at least even in my comedy and in this, to be transparent and talk about my flaws and everything, because that way it's not you can get called out and all this stuff. Like be who you are and be forthcoming with it, as opposed to always trying to put on this facade that a lot of people do, or pretend you're something that you're not. When behind closed doors, you're a monster. And you see that with a lot of people that are out there that are drifting on that side. And I mean, you see it on the left too, where it's like, come to me for this, these answers, and they don't have any.